This podcast contains strong language. Hello, everybody! I am your favorite burn idol, Blank Ryan. I hope you've all had a wonderful new year. This is my first recording of the new year, which is quite exciting. And let's get right to it. I was thinking recently, and by recently I mean literally last night, about failure. What a fun topic to discuss, but I think it's an important one because especially people in the content creator space, I know I bring up content creation a lot, but I'm in content creation. I know a lot of the people who listen to this are in content creation. It's a really difficult hurdle to face, and it hits you so early on that you can fail in so many ways. And the overall message that I want to bring out of this episode is the importance of getting something positive out of failing, which is what happened last night. And I'm going to talk about that in a bit. But I wanted to start off with how throughout my time as a content creator, I mean, I've been doing this since I was like 12 as like a curiosity thing. And by the time I was 14, so over 10 years ago now, I was like committed to wanting to do content creation for a living, which has worked out in some ways and it hasn't in other ways. But one of the roughest things about it is when something goes wrong at such a crucial level. Now, there's a lot of different ways something can go wrong in content creation, but the one that I'm the most familiar with is recording a video for YouTube, and specifically OBS. Now, if you've used OBS, it's a beautiful, gorgeous, amazing, incredible tool, completely free. It's awesome that it's completely free because I remember being a kid and trying to track down like pirated copy of Fraps, which never worked out, or I used for the briefest time at the age of 11 or 12 a program called Screencast-O-Matic, which was utterly awful. But it limited recordings to 15 minutes, which, to be fair, was fine for my first couple, but quickly got out of hand, or just annoying. But OBS, very good, very cool, magical tool. Been using it for a decade now. And one of the issues that I always had with OBS, and still have to this day, is audio. There will always be a really good recording, at least once a year, probably more, where the audio will be completely and utterly fucked for one reason or another. There are so many other things that go wrong. I've had recordings that I fucked up the recording settings so that the file is basically too big. Like I recorded a Helldivers video to friends a couple of months ago for about 50 minutes, and the final recording, I think, was about 80 gigabytes, which was just not going to happen in Premiere. I tried running it through Media Encoder, didn't work. That is lost. A string of recordings shortly after that, whilst I was trying to figure out the issue, also lost. Damn shame, but it is what it is. And last night, to bring me onto the point that got me thinking about all this, last night, me and Zach, my co-host on We Sell Plants, we did a utterly fantastic recording of a game called Chucksy, which is a little indie horror title, FPS horror. It's got like a very early 2010s indie horror vibe about it, which I absolutely adore because that's what I grew up with. And it was Zach's first time doing a recording on his end, because usually he's a guest on my recordings, or he's not the one handling the recording, essentially. So it was the first time that he's done this since 2020. So 5 years, and OBS 5 years ago, and the whole setup was very different because he was recording screen capture gameplay from his Xbox. The setup was like, it was different enough that he basically had to relearn everything from scratch. And he got almost everything right. Almost. Like the footage, the quality was gorgeous. He'd got all the different tracks set up so I could edit them all separately, except he didn't separate but he didn't put the game audio onto its own track. So it was on every track. And the game audio was the fucking loudest. So no matter what I tried, I was barely audible because I have like a really nice mic. But Zach's mic is not incredible because he's got like a very mishmash setup at the minute, which is fine because I'm just happy to do stuff with him. But he's got like a very very thrown together setup, and his mic is like a £50 podcasting mic from Amazon from 5 years ago. It's not amazing. He was just not audible at all. So that, and the whole point was he was playing the game, I was watching, we were both bouncing off each other. The commentary was the important part there. That got fucked off. That is a lost video, which is a shame. And he was really pissed off about it. And I would be too if I was in his position. I get it, because I've done that so many times, and it's awful, and it's always the good ones. You never lose a bad video. Like, the worst video you've ever recorded is probably the one with the best settings. But it wasn't a total loss. I very quickly wanted to make that point. Through that failure, yeah, it's a shame the video was gone. Yeah, it's a shame that it was such an avoidable thing. But we learned some really cool things from that. One, he's probably learned to not do that again for a while, which is nice. Two, the format fucking worked. We had such a good video in recording. We had such a good time. We bounced off each other very well. We enjoyed the game. We know that the format and the setup and the dynamic and the chemistry, all of that works. So that when we do the next video, and we get all of the setup right, in theory, at a base level, the concept works. So the next video, still going to be good. The video after, still going to be good. And the other thing is, he's got the first one out of the way. He's got the trial run done. That's like 99% of the time, I think, the first video you do anyway, even if all the recording setup goes well, you're going to find things that you're not going to like. And you're going to make notes in your head about, oh, I need to do this better next time. And we've done that without anyone having to see all the blunders that we made so that we could perfect it with a video that we shot literally about 2 hours later, which is a game called Cabin Factory, which should come out, I think, if this episode comes out on Wednesday, Cabin Factory should be coming out on Friday. So you'll see the results of that very quickly. But yeah, that whole experience got me thinking about the importance of taking the good from failing, especially in content creation, because I think it's so important that you don't let fuck-ups bring you down, because I think that's why so many people just don't make it. There are so many very, very, very talented people who give a shot at content creation, and for one reason or another, something goes wrong, and they don't have the support to get them through that first hurdle, and so the world has lost a potentially incredible creator for something as simple as an audio recording getting messed up. I know that I have literally, I think I was about 17, 18, recorded this great video with my friends, been looking forward to it for months. It was the only time we could all get together. Recorded it. Fucking incredible recording. One of the best that nostalgically I look back on and think it was one of the best experiences I ever had in recording. Gone. The audio and the video quality. No, the audio quality was fine. The video quality was fucked. It was very pixely and artifacty. You could not see anything going on screen. And I was really beat up about that. And I thought, fuck, this is something I'd been planning for months. This was supposed to be my big comeback to YouTube at the time. It's all gone wrong. All signs are pointing, don't do this anymore. And I gave up for like probably about 6 months. And a lot of people have probably given up for good off of something like that, which is such a shame. And I think, I mean, obviously this lesson as well, it applies to more than just content creation. I think it's a really good thing to take into your life, is that it's not about the fact that you failed, it's about the fact that you tried and you learn from that and you move on. And I mean, it's something that is taught and really drilled into people. No more than last week's message is just being yourself. This is a very basic message, but I think it's one that we hear and we think, yeah, well, that's all well and good, but the real world won't just accept you trying, but it will. I remember being in uni and I had a massive fear of failure from high school, which we'll get onto. But I remember being in uni and there was a piece of work that was due that I was very, very behind on, and I'd not intentionally, but I'd made it aware to my lecturer that I was very, very behind on it. My lecturer is a phenomenal man. I'd love to have him on, to be honest. He's absolutely incredible. It's called Tom. Probably. And he basically told me it doesn't matter if like what I hand in is a half a project, essentially. It doesn't matter if I get a low grade. It's better to hand in half of something and get a low grade than to not hand it in at all. It obviously is better to go with a full mile as well, but you want to give at least something so that the person marking the work knows that you've tried, rather than hiding it and giving up and not showing anything, because then they're just going to think that you didn't give a shit. And in a similar vein, he also told me, when you apply for work as an editor, because we were on a film course, a post-production course, when you apply for work as an editor and you're given a big job and it's getting to the point, like a week away from deadline, and you think, fuck, I can't do this. Just say that. Just talk to the people that you're doing it for. Say, hey, look, this is what I've got so far. Don't think I'm going to get it done in time. They're not going to, they might be upset or frustrated or whatever, but they're not going to, turn around to all their friends in the industry and be like, this guy is a fucking monster. This guy should not work in this industry, and try and get you blacklisted, unless they're a horrible person. But then, if anyone is buying what a horrible person says, then you probably don't want to work for those people either. They're probably just going to go, right, fine, whatever. Thank you for doing what you've done, and we'll just find someone else. And that's it. You're free to go off and try something else, maybe a bit smaller, build your skills up, whatever. It's not going to be a permanent stain on your record unless you make it one in your own head, which I think is really fucking important. And I've tested that theory outside of a uni environment, because it's all well and good saying this whilst you're at uni where everything is controlled and supervised, but as a freelance editor, I've done this as well, and it sucks. I feel bad about it. They're certainly not happy about it, but it's not the end of the world for anyone. They can recover, they can find someone else, they can do it themselves. Just honesty and effort is definitely the best policy. So don't be afraid of failing and upsetting people. Just show that you tried. They'll be happy. And this all stems from the fact that when I was in high school, one of my biggest regrets is like I said, I had a massive fear of failure. There are so many things that I didn't try because just off the bat, I thought, I'm not going to be able to do that. We had the most phenomenal resources at high school. Massive DT laboratory with all the power tools you could possibly think of. 3D printers, CDC wood machines, I think they were called, which are like basically the laser cutters of wood. We had laser cutters as well, which I was actually quite good with. All the different kind of saws and drills, and there was the awesome kind of workshop machines at your disposal were there. And there were a lot of opportunities to do stuff outside of lessons, because I did do DT for GCSE and A-level, but there were a lot of opportunities outside of lessons. Try your hand with something with those as well. I just never did. I always thought I was going to fuck it up. I always thought I was going to waste time. I was going to get in trouble. I was going to break the machine, blah, blah, blah. It's a school. It's there for you to learn, to take the opportunity. So if I'm talking to someone who is in a position to take those opportunities, whether you're at uni or school or you're on some kind of course, bloody well take them. They're there to be used. And if something goes wrong, they're there for things to go wrong, because it's a controlled environment. They can recover from it. I mean, obviously they'd prefer if it didn't, but they're not going to blow your head off if you make an honest mistake. So please go, try, live. Don't regret anything. Don't live in fear of fucking up, because it will haunt you. There's so many things that I wish I tried that I think, even if I didn't think at the time that they would benefit content creation, because since I was 12, I wanted to be a content creator in some way, shape, or form. And even if I didn't think it was going to benefit it, there's so many lessons you can learn from just about anything. If you're really looking, if you really take things on board, and if you really just give it your all. Like, again, I was listening to a podcast, the So Alright podcast, about Jeff. He used to work in the power tool repair store. And I was thinking, wow, how the fuck is that, like, even remotely had an impact on his life as a content creator for Rooster Teeth? Creative problem solving. It was talked about how one day he walked in to the warehouse or whatever. The guy who runs it, he had a forklift there. Oh, we got a forklift. That's awesome. Nope, we're going to repair it. How are we going to do that? I don't know, but we're going to. And they did. And that is such an awesome skill to have, just with anything, especially with content creation, because there is so much creative problem solving. Even if it's not a practical thing like a forklift, you will come across so many problems and have to figure out a solution on the fly, or else a project will fall apart. So just try new things. Don't be afraid of failing, especially in a controlled environment, because they're almost half expecting you to fail. That's what they're there for, so you can learn. And with that, I've got two questions for you, as usual. What is the best risk you've taken? I'd love to know, because honestly, I think the world would be a better place if people took more risks, more good risks, not, like gambling 10,000 on a horse at the races. That's a stupid risk, but, just like a course that you've taken that you didn't think was going to work out, and it worked out the best possible way it could for you. Something like that. So what's the best risk you've taken? And do you have any regrets over something that a fear of failure has held you back from? Well, that's a bit of a mouthful, but the context of this episode, I'm hoping you'll be able to draw from that what I'm wanting. I'm massively curious because this is something that has been haunting me since my high school years, and I'm just really curious to see what people have done that's led them to where they are now. So if you'd like to answer any of those questions, please email wesellplantsmanagement@gmail.com with the subject title Bone Idol question, or leave it in the comments of whichever platform you're using. Thank you all so much for listening. I've been Ryan. I'll see you next time. Peace out. Bye.